What is up, everybody? Welcome to Vonis's Domain Toy Review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Disney Store exclusive Star Wars The Black Series Jedi Temple Guards 2-pack from Hasbro. It works out for me, but I know there's some people that are definitely kind of upset about a hostage pack. Another Black Series hostage pack, by the way. Hasbro loves doing that. Hasbro loves putting figures in a pack that they know people are going to definitely want, but they'll put it in there with another figure that no one's really asking for, or we just got, or whatever the reason may be, and that's how we get a hostage pack. But you know what? This is pretty cool, and although I already did do a solo review for the hooded Jedi Temple Guard, definitely wanted to take a look at this here. There were many things that I was thinking about this 2-pack, so I wanted to put it on the books. I wanted to put it in a review. So taking a look at this packaging, this is kind of along the lines of the Disney Store exclusive kind of packaging that we've seen before. Looks pretty cool. I like the big window with the really cool mural illustrations, which apparently are going to be going away, that we learned at this 2026 San Diego Comic-Con, as they're getting rid of the murals in general, and there will just be toy photography on the box. So we will not be seeing stuff like this in the future, unfortunately, within like a year probably. And then getting it to the back here, this is pretty cool. Mural art right there on the side, and then a little bio if you want to read that. And if you open this up, have the two figures in all of their glory. Pretty much the same thing that we get on the back. You can read that if you like. And then the figures in the bubble. Pretty cool. You can see everything you get there with the lightsabers. Alright, let's get these guys out of the box. Starting out with the hooded Jedi Temple Guards lightsaber. You get this lightsaber. No red coloring on the button like the previous Jedi Temple release, so that's a little bit of a shame. But pretty much the same as what you're getting with the figure before here. There is quite a bit of paint on here, so not too bad for Hasbro. And then the next lightsaber that belongs to the other Jedi Temple Guard is pretty cool. No red paint on this one either, but this one does have like a little option that you can kind of squish these together, which is pretty cool. Again, with the yellow blade, just like the other Jedi Temple Guard. Very neat. I really do like this. And there's paint on this too, so looking at this specific Jedi Temple Guard, this is pretty cool. He's got a lot of the same mold of the previous one. Like, I believe it's the same head, same neck joint, same arms, same legs, probably same groin area. But this and this piece seem to be different, as well as the whole torso. That seems to be new parts, but the articulation's pretty much the same. So, you know, you're getting, like, ball joint on the neck and in the head. You're getting good articulation in the arms with like a small butterfly joint. You're getting more than 90 degrees there with the arm, which is great. Ball jointed wrist, which is pretty cool. Some good torso action here with this dude. It doesn't have a thigh cut, but you actually do get a good range of motion here with the thighs. And knee joints go up about that much. Rocker ankles and whatnot. Pretty standard for Black Series, at least it should be by this point. In terms of the paints, everything here is looking pretty accurate. I know that there is supposed to be kind of like a darker outline around the shoulder pads and kind of in here, and you can see that the mold has been created for that, but they just didn't trace it with paint, which is a little bit unfortunate, but everything else here looks pretty good. But I do wish that they had hit that with just one more app of paint. Finish off the figure, you know. And this is the Jedi Temple Guard that we got solo about a year back, I want to say, maybe less time than that. I'm probably not going to run through the articulation. It's pretty much the same as the other figure, because the other figure got most of its tooling from this figure. But we do have this really cool sculpted comma with like all these like keys on it that are painted, which is really nice. And I like that they painted the outline on this. And then we've got the cloth goods kind of apron comma coming down under here. And there is also an outline going on about this comma, which is also nice. And I just really like the look and design of this character. It just looks super cool, super awesome. And again, doesn't really look a whole lot of paint's missing from this guy either. I don't really notice anything off, like, just looking at it. So, I'm not gonna lie, I can't help but feel like the value just isn't here for the base price of $60. At checkout for me on the Disney Store, it came out to be around $75 with tax and shipping, and that's just not worth it to me. And the base value of $60, I just don't think that's worth it personally. I did want to get it, though, for the review, and I did want an extra guard, and I did want this particular Jedi Temple Guard. But there are definitely some things that they could have done to kind of spice up this 2-pack for one. It would have been cool if we gotten some kind of swoosh blades. They were putting a lot of swoosh blades in one wave for the Black Series, and then all of a sudden they dropped it. I kind of thought they were going to get on a roll of doing that, trying to give the, fan base more bang for their buck, but they kind of just dropped that. I know that these blades are a little bit shorter than the normal ones. Just make it work. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I would have loved to see that. And also, one thing that really would have spiced up the pot for me, really would have gotten me on board with the price, as ridiculous as it does sound, just a little bit more would have gone a lot farther for me in if they would have added a Grand Inquisitor head for this particular body from Rebels. It's a little bit different than his normal Rebels Grand Inquisitor look anyway, so that would have been really, really cool. It would have been kind of like a variant head that you can only get with this 2-pack, which I'm sure some people would have been kind of like frustrated about, but then others, would have been like, oh, well, this is an incentive to get this 2-pack then. I get a new figure, and I get an extra figure of something, or maybe a figure that you never got with the solo release, and you get a little extra head with it, but they did not include that, which is a little bit disappointing. The paint isn't completely finished on this guy, which is a little bit disappointing. Wish they just would have went the extra mile for that. But other than that, though, if this is worth it to you as a fan of the Clone Wars or Rebels, then it's worth it to you, you know what I'm saying? I thought this was maybe a little less worth it, kind of after seeing the price, but I still wanted to get it. I'm definitely going to slow down on Black Series releases, though. I just feel like I have so many other lines that I'm collecting that just are hitting the mark so much harder for the prices that they're asking than the Black Series. So I may slow down on Black Series reviews. I do think this is a cool 2-pack, though. I definitely don't want to end on a dour note. It is pretty cool for what it is, but it definitely could have been just a little bit cooler, and I wish they had kind of given it that extra oomph to get it over that line for me, that quality line. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my review. Let me know down in the comments what you think of this 2-pack. What do you think of these figures in general? What do you think of the characters? What do you think of this release? I mean, it's pretty cool that it happened. The Jedi Temple Guards are very, very cool looking characters, and they have yellow dual-bladed lightsabers. I mean, how much cooler can you get? So yeah, let me know your opinions down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And Devonius and the Jedi Temple Guards, out.